Yeah, what's good? This be the G Shaw Cypher. You officially tuned in to On the Grind Live, where we support anybody out there grinding for any reason. And if they grinding, this is the platform for them. If whatever you got going on in any aspect, we want to make sure that we support you. And if you want to talk about it, this is where you need to be. Outside of that, you already know my slogan. If you see me, you see dope people. I don't bring nobody on here that's not doing something official. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't really matter if you're an artist, you're a small business owner, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Your grind is a story we need to tell. And I got somebody with me that's grinding, that's been doing this thing. And I'm saying this right, Sigma?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. S7GMA.
What's good, my G? How you been?
Been good. Been good. Feeling great.
Uh,
Feeling mad blessings over the past few months. How about yourself, man?
Man, I'm just trying to take things to another level, man. Make sure that we support as much as possible. I want to take it back to the beginning. You get what I'm saying? Like for you, give me the origin behind your name because you spell it differently, right? So you put the number 7 in it. So take me to the how you came up with that and what's the significance of your brand name.
So with Sigma, I initially got Sigma on some Modern Warfare 2 type stuff back in the day, playing on the Xbox online, and then it's because Sigma is the 18th letter in the Greek alphabet, and 18 was like freedom for me. It's when you finally be able to you don't need your parents' permission for stuff like that. You
Right.
do what you do. It's freedom. And then the 7 comes in because I'm somebody who I don't like to be the main character of everything. I like to think of myself as the perfect puzzle piece, and
Okay.
everything revolves around 7. You know, 7 days in a week. You know, 7 is perfection religiously. 7 colors in a rainbow. You know, 7 continents, 7 seas, 7 wonders, things
Right.
like that. And I feel like if I was taking out the loop, everything would be out of rotation.
You know what? That's dope because I would have never thought of that. You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So the
Yeah,
fact that there's a story behind it, and that you put it together like that, it makes it feel that regardless of where you at, you're always the missing piece, and when you get there, that's when you know everything gonna come together. You get what I'm
exactly,
saying? So I like that.
exactly.
So talk to me about where are you from?
I'm originally from North Philly.
Okay,
Um, and then at about 12 years old, I moved over here to Texas. So Texas is my second home. Really, I've been everywhere in Texas,
okay,
from Katy, Houston to or Austin, San Marcos, stuff like that.
right.
Hmm.
Let me ask you this: like, did the love for music come in Philly, or did it come, while you were in Texas? Like, where did music become something that you gravitated to?
So specifically, the love for hip hop came from Philly. My uncle used to put me on everything: Nas, Wayne. You know, I about to say that we had Prime, Fat Joe, and stuff like that. Akon. And then when I came to Texas, is when I started appreciating music as a whole. You know, I got into more genres, rock. Started appreciating more vibes. So most definitely music as a whole in Texas, but hip hop, like the lyricism part of it and all,
Right.
Philly for sure, East Coast.
Yeah. So it sounds like you started out from the loving of the hip hop in Philly, and
Hmm.
then when you got to Texas, you was exposed to all kinds of different music, right? Because
Exactly.
when you so I mean, if you don't know nothing about Texas, if you think Texas, you think country, right? Like, so but obviously there's hip hop, there's all kinds of different types of music there, so you get a chance to taste all of that. how
Hmm.
how how has that experience made you the artist that you are today?
Uh, it broke me out the box, really. You know, I'm gonna let like other than my support, you know, my support system that I got. I'm never putting myself in a box. I'm never restricting myself, limiting myself with things that I talk about. And especially within my own music out here in Texas, I'm able to experience more. You
Right.
know, it's not just because North Philly is a bad place, man. Uh,
Yeah.
so so I'm just able to integrate it a lot more, add a lot more color to my sound, a lot more color to Sigma all together.
Yeah, that makes sense. So if you was to explain the type of music that you do or your style to somebody that's never heard your music before, but
Hmm.
they get ready to press play on any of your songs, what would you tell them?
Shoot, it's alternative. It's alternative hip hop. Alternative hip hop, conscious hip hop. That's what I would say. I usually say that like my newer sound. like
Right.
it's like audible cinema. You know, I'm always because I make my beats, I produce, I engineer everything, so I try to make it more like a movie in your ears through the headset, through the earphones. I try to make it something that you can actually listen to. Dancing to music is dope and all, but I'm trying to make a pivot back to where things started.
Right. Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
You said you master, you mix, you create your own beat. So,
Mm-hmm.
talk to me about, developing that side of Sigma, right? Because you obviously is Sigma the artist, but you're Sigma the engineer and the producer. Like, you kind of got to dive into different mindsets to get what you need before you dive into Sigma the artist. So talk to me about how you develop that.
So the beat side of it specifically, I got tired of hopping on YouTube and SoundClick and BeatStars and somebody else type beat, Logic type beat, Nas type beat, Kendrick type beat, Drake type beat. Got tired of doing that. I want a Sigma type beat. You know what I'm saying? So and then it was around the time where I started experimenting more with like punk rock and more with like pop and alternative stuff. And then I try to, and I'm somebody who likes to stick to my roots. I listen to like the same 10 songs. I'm gonna listen to them songs for the next 6 months, and it's always something from the old days, or my old days at least. And
Right,
that's really where producing my own stuff came from. And then as far as mix and mastering and engineer, that's always been something that I did by myself because I about to say my wallets were never that blessed,
right,
so I can never reach out, always go to a studio like everybody else, and pay for that 4 hour slot. And
right,
so I
right.
had to learn it all myself. I like to be a one man army down to their cover arts.
Right, right. And there's nothing wrong with that. You get what I'm saying? I have an in-house studio myself. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I mean, I'm in my house doing this. You know what I mean? My setup for this is completely different from my setup for when I'm recording at Shaw Cypher. You get what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
I can definitely understand that. And sometimes you gotta be you gotta be, or I should say you gotta wear multiple hats, especially
Mm-hmm.
if you're focusing on a dream.
Exactly.
And finding a way out of no way, right?
Exactly.
So it might be expensive up front, but it's you save money in the long run. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So definitely. Talk to me about your writing style though. Like, what does it take for you to get ready to write a record? Do you got to be out somewhere, or do you just get in the zone at home? Like, how does those records come to you before you lay them down?
So mainly it's been two ways. Sometimes I make the beat, and then as I'm playing down the synth, as I'm laying down the piano through my melody, I could what I'm saying, I start freestyling or I start mimicking it, what I'm saying, and then I start adding in words on that. And then some other times it'll just come to me through because I like to lock myself in all the way, from locking myself inside the crib, locking myself in the studio, locked in all the way, no distraction, no nothing. Set the vibe, set the tone, whatever it may be. And sometimes it'll just come to me like
Right,
like I'll think of one bar, and as long as it's a bar, like a real bar, metaphor, figurative language, something, and then I'll just start spider webbing off of that, really.
right,
And then that verse right there, I'll end up finding a beat, through my little catalog that I got. I'll go through all, seeing a couple hundred of my beats, and then boom, I'll find it at home. I'll find that verse at home, and then as soon as I find it at home, boom, now I got a topic, bridge off to the hook, stuff like that. But sometimes the song speaks to me, mainly the beat is speak to me. That's what I like to say. The beat know what it want me to say to it.
right. It
Mm-hmm.
talks to you. It tells you the type of song that to put to it.
Exactly.
So definitely, like, you talk to it, it talks to you. So I could definitely understand that. Um, when when you are when ready to kind of dive into the music that you're creating, um, do you ever think about, is there anybody that you collab with for your album? Because I know you got an album that's dropping soon. You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Do you say that you 100% produce that, or is there somebody that kind of helps you kind of get to that finish line that you want, or is there certain people that you want to collab with? When it comes to those albums.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love for something like this. If I was to collab, it would be on a remix type base, because the project itself, the album itself, is the mind of me, the mind of Sigma. And in my head, I thought to myself, why would I allow somebody else tell my story, or help me tell
Right.
my story, like not even in a cocky way, but it's 100% produced and written by me. um but outside of that, I have been looking for those to remix with me so they could also share their story in the same sense as mine, because I'm like I said, I'm trying to pivot it back. I'm trying to pivot it back to something a little bit more real, something a little bit more traditional, but at the same time adding different aspects to that.
Yeah, that makes sense. So collectively, like, how long have you been doing this, on a professional level? The artist, the engineer, the producer, like collectively, how long you've been doing this?
All those together for the last 5 years or so, but I've been making music for the past 11 years.
Right. So during that time frame, as you kind of learned and navigated the business, what do you feel like is the biggest lesson you've learned?
Shoot, that you your own enemy. You're your own enemy. You got to get out your head. All that writer's block stuff is because you got an expectation set. You might not think about it, but there's an expectation there, and that's why that's where the writer's block come from.
Right.
I
Right.
learned that you got to satisfy yourself before you satisfy others. Because if you like it, 1 out of 8 billion others is gonna like it.
Right. And you only really need to impact that one. You know what I'm saying? Like, people think, yo, I only got 100 followers on Instagram. Man, if all 100 followers like your music, that's 100 people talking.
Yep.
Right? Like, you gotta think about that.
You gotta put in the aspects.
Right. Versus the 10,000 that you're not even really seeing that 9,000, right? But it's all about making sure that you impact somebody, one person at a time. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
definitely understand that. So who would you say influenced you, man? You talked about some dope artists. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, so some of those artists come from the East Coast,
Yeah,
right? So like
absolutely.
yourself, you from Philly. So you like really talk about who influenced you, coming up.
Coming up, I would say my top five coming up was Nas, Lil Wayne, Eminem, and then when I came over to Texas, of course, Kid Cudi, and probably Kanye. But currently, who influenced me at the moment, to be an artist and keep on going as an artist, Nas, Logic. With Nas, I about to say throughout my whole life, it really stuck with me that you could be whatever you want to be, and that's something that stuck with me the whole time.
Yeah.
And Logic really, he broke barriers, even though he got multiple chips on his shoulders, and that's something that I felt like I could resonate with.
Right.
So for sure, those artists.
Yeah. This single that you have out called Now, like, talk about the concept behind that song, and kind of how it all developed into the record that it is today.
Shoot. So for Now, I created Now at the beginning of this year. I locked myself in my room for 3 months from January to March. Moved my whole setup, moved everything, and then I didn't leave unless it was for work. And I literally told myself, I'm gonna get this music done. I'm gonna get this project done. I can't keep on crying that, oh, I nobody listens to me while I'm not blowing up yet. Can't keep crying if I'm not putting in the work. So I went on ahead and put in the work for 3 months straight. 3 months straight with nothing else, no games, no nothing, no hanging out with the homies. And then I started making Now. And at first, Now was supposed to be like some type of pop. But then when I heard that piano, like I said, it was just speaking to me. And the base around Now is really that I had to live in the now. I had to stop being worried, stressing out, and being chained by my past. And I also had to stop allowing myself to be my own enemy about whatever's to come in the future. And I like to say, the future really don't exist. We'll never be able to live in the future. We always gonna live in the now. We can't live in the past either. Ain't no rewinds and there's no fast forwards. So I like to think that, the future is now and now is forever. Tomorrow might not come, but if it does, whatever you did right now is going to
Right.
affect tomorrow. So,
Definitely. I mean, that's a fact, right? Because once, like, it's 8:19 p.m. on the East Coast. So I would say, 9 o'clock, you in the future, right? But at that particular time, that's now. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I can definitely understand that you can't go back to yesterday, right? Like, whatever
Never.
happened yesterday, what happened, it happened. So I could definitely hear you on that. Now, this official record that you got coming out in November, like, how many songs are you talking about putting on there, And what's the overall concept? And I know you mentioned it earlier, right? Like the I think you
Mm.
said, was it the Mind of Sigma? Is that, did I say that right? Or what's the
Uh,
name of the project?
the name of the project is gonna be The Mind of Me. It's
The
gonna
Mind of
be
Me. Right,
yeah, The
right.
Mind of Me dropping in November. There's gonna be 7 songs on it, and it's basically a beginning, a middle, and the end of my previous chapter, my chapter that I thought was my forever. And that's what I say. And now too, I already spent enough time in my mind trying to find who I was just so I could be myself, because I was looking for myself. But in that time, I found out me that wasn't mine. Come to find who I was me for someone else. So even in the good times, I still wasn't. I still wasn't satisfying myself. I was just having a good time because I was satisfying everybody else.
Right,
You know.
right,
So that's really what the album is about. It's about, welcome to the Mind of Sigma. Matter of fact, the Mind of Me. And then after that, it's, some experiences on how I got to where I got, thought process wise. And then welcoming people into my current chapter, into my now.
right, right. Have you thought of expanding the engineering or producer part to like produce it for other people and then like engineering other people?
I have, but the handful of experiences that I've had is just like, you know what? Because like I said, I'm a 1 man army already, and
Right.
I would love to do that. I would love to do that. However, I got to limit myself on clientele because I'm somebody who reaches for more than I could grab
Okay.
a lot of the time. So if I ever did, it would have to be on a limit. But the experience that I didn't had, I was like, you know what? There's no way that I could work on me 120% and also help somebody else be 100%.
Right, right,
You
right. No,
know?
I get it. You know what I'm saying? I limit. I understand it with this platform. I always try to make sure we have it out there, but I can't improve it if I'm always trying to dabble here and dabble there. You get what I'm
Yep.
saying? But is there anything else that you would like to expand to? You know what I mean, not necessarily with the music, but as you get popular in it, as you become successful, is there other things that you want to dive into in and
Yeah.
outside of music?
uh it eventually all trickles down back to the music, but I would like to come out with like a little comic book, you know based off of the Mind of Sigma type stuff. And I would also like to get into short films, short little cinematic films, nothing too long, nothing to hit theaters, but just like little, just little, like maybe 30 minutes to an hour type films.
Right, right. And nothing wrong
Hmm.
with that. You know what I mean? You can expand that, even utilize your own music for the soundtrack, you know what I mean? Or build the music around it, since you the producer and the engineer, like, stuff like that. Do you have any videos for any of the music that you have out? Like now, do you have a music video for that, or something that you come in, that you looking to
uh Yeah, now has a visualizer. It has two visualizers. One is a little bit more of a music video, but and the other one is more of a visualizer. Sorry, which is also on the project. That one has a music video out, and I got a welcome music video currently in the works.
Okay. Okay, cool. Um, I mean, coming out of Philly and transitioning to Texas, if you run into somebody that's looking to kind of run, walk in your footsteps in the music scene, like, that
Mhm.
is younger than you, what would you tell them?
Bet on yourself. You know, that's and it sounds cliche. It sounds cliche, but
Right,
I, I had to tell myself that is because I used to think it's cliche. Don't listen to that. But now, I'm a little bit older. I gotta think it's cliche for a reason. A lot of people say
right,
this for a reason.
right,
Bet on yourself. Because time don't wait for nobody. Time
right,
don't care that you sad. Time don't care what you got going on. You know, and whatever time is wasted cannot come back. Ain't no
right,
rewinds.
right.
So bet
No,
on yourself.
definitely, definitely. Well, you on the Grind Live podcast, so let me ask you this question: what is your definition of grind?
My definition of grind: discipline, and no excuses. Just get into it. All that. Oh, I gotta like. Are you trying to start a podcast? Oh, I gotta wait till I got a 4K camera. No, you don't. Get it started today.
Right, right,
I about to say just grind. Just get to it. I always tell people that grinding is two good ideas to start grinding, or two good times. As soon as you think about it, and
mhm,
then the second time you think about it, because by
right,
the time you think about it the third time, it's already gonna have a negative context, negative connotation next to it. So you got to get it now. No
right.
excuses.
Right, and that's a fact that you want to definitely get to it.
Mm.
Tell the people how they can get to you, man. Social media, all that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere. It's S7GMA, Sigma, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Music, all the digital streaming platforms. On TikTok and Facebook, I'm at S7GMA Music.
Is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, absolutely. I like to shout out my little brother because I know he's somebody who, if I don't grind, if I'm not on the grind, he's somebody who's gonna put me in a headlock. So shout out to my little brother Joey. Shout
Yeah,
out to my family. I about to say my girlfriend. Absolutely.
definitely, definitely. Well, listen, man, we appreciate you taking the time out, pulling up with us. I mean, for the people that's tuned in, I see you. I appreciate it. If you just tuned it in, hit that rewind button on YouTube or Facebook, you'll be able to see this whole thing. But we're gonna have the clips soon coming. You know what I mean? Sigma doing some things. Make sure y'all go support him. His music is on Spotify right now. I see it on there. He's got some dope music on there right now. Now, sorry, welcome, crazy for you, bedroom. Like, go check
Hmm.
these tracks out. And make sure y'all focus on a dude and give him some support. But listen, man, I appreciate you, man. Is there anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Shoot, we got a show in Austin, October 13th. But other than that, I appreciate you big time, man. I'm about to say, and thank you for your time.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Well, listen, on the grind live, Shaw Cipher, Sigma, y'all already know what it is.